looks like we are live. Might be dropping frames, but I can just exit this. That we should be back to normal. So, hello Mohan Prasad. I'm actually modding everything on my phone because my streaming setup cannot handle the playback as well at the same time. So that's where we are. Hello, Mio Mixer. I'll call you that. Apart from that, we look pretty much ready. So today's stream is going to be removing the previous FreeBSD installation and writing the OpenBSD onto it. Now the reason I wanted to do that is I don't have any issues with Open FreeBSD per se, but it looks too modern. It's like kind of a too good thing for it. It looks too modern and there's kind of a retro stream. So yeah, so official gaming TV. I hope you watch it later and enjoy the party. But the OpenBSD has kind of a retro look to it, especially with the default UI it installs with. So I've always wanted to install that, and my capture card sadly didn't capture whatever OpenBSD was spitting out through VGA. So I got a bit better one, and that can capture pretty much anything. So first of all, I want to show that the OpenBSD installer can actually install through a 1.44 megabyte floppy image. They have a very basic floppy installer, so I'll go and start that. Now I don't have a floppy disk in the system. I have a floppy emulator, which shows which just emulates USB to floppy. It's called the GoTech emulator. I'm running a open source firmware on it. I did a whole video modding it, adding a OLED screen into it. The OLED screen actually spits out the actual track that's being read at the moment, and stuff like that. It's pretty amazing. I'll do a separate standalone stream where I install an entire operating system using like 22 or 23 floppy disk images. So that would be interesting. Um, but yeah, with the YouTube live stream, I just have kind of a uh, it's it just the chat just goes away for some reason. Anyway, so it's loading the OpenBSD installer using floppy. We'll switch back to normal USB boot in a minute, but I just wanted to show that. And since it's actually emulating the 34 pin FDD speed for like a regular floppy drive in one of the older systems, it's actually as slow. So it doesn't mean that since you're reading off a USB drive, it's much faster. It's just as slow. So this will take a few minutes. So sadly, this is just an installer. We'll see if the second USB Wi-Fi that I've plugged in actually doesn't require a firmware. Then we might be able to just proceed with the floppy disk installation. In that case, I'll just rename the stream later on. But yeah, we'll attempt to see if the floppy disk works. If not, if there's issue detecting the Wi-Fi card, then I'd need to go to the whole USB installer, because then that has everything built in. I don't have to worry about anything else. Or I can just use the sets off of the USB drive, which is a much better option than going back and booting from it. So I think I'll do that. I'll use the sets of like in the installation sets out of the USB drive if the Wi-Fi stuff doesn't work. So it's at the place where it asks me if I want to install or what. I'll just go ahead and tell I want to install. Choose the default keyboard layout. I'll call it P for BSD. See, it doesn't detect my network drive, which is sad. So it probably requires some sort of firmware. So the two network drives you can see is VLAN, which is the Ethernet port, the FXP0, which is um, the the LAN, the dial-up modem I have in the PCIe slot for some reason. Um, hello, um, hello K Ferrari. Hi, what's up? Right, so we are just going to say done and not care about the interface, and we'll go ahead and try out the USB disk installer, and then we'll have to load in firmware separately, which would then allow us to connect to the internet. Domain name p4.bsd, I don't know, like just something. I'll just go localhost, who cares? None. Root account password, keep a simple one. I want to start SSH. I want to start X because that's why I'm doing the whole thing. I want to set up a user. I'll give that a name. Full name is the same. Password for the user. Again, I'll keep a simple one. We will allow SSH login. Right, so which disk we want to install on, which is the WD0, the 500 gig one. Again, I have plans for the other disk which is in there, which somehow didn't initialize, but okay, we'll figure that out. We want to use it whole with MBR, and we want to create a custom layout, and the disk type is should actually be SATA, to be honest. But you know what? I'll go with ID. Who cares? So we'll delete all partitions and add a partition. Wait, I just deleted all the partitions. So whoa. What's wrong with this now? See, it partitions it, then I delete it, and when I say there's a new size and I say auto partition, now it goes into auto partition for some reason. Right, so partition A, offset 64, size this, FSD 4.2 BSD, which is fine, mount point is root, and that's it. So let's see what's the write and quit, which is Q, creates new label, and now it will take its time to format the drive actually. I honestly don't know how many people are there in this room. This could take a while, but I'm happy we are going the floppy drive boot route, um, pun intended, and that would and we'll see how this goes. I'm pretty bummed that the second Wi-Fi device wasn't detected, although I should have seen that coming. So I'll have to do a fair bit of Google and see what are the commands to get all of that initialized. So we've initialized all the disk. Now we need to install disk. Now we cannot connect to HTTP. We don't have network on it, so we'll just go disk. And the partition is not mounted, so it should be in SD0. Partition A. It found it. Amazing. Done. It doesn't have the signature, which is fine. I trust it. Yes, and now we are actually installing it. Yeah, worked out better than I thought. I thought doing it over um, doing it over the floppy would be a bit not possible. But then I realized I had the sets on the drive, might as well do that. So again, I don't know a lot of operating systems that have floppy download, especially for a 64-bit OS these days. But apparently, OpenBSD is one of them. I'm not sure if FreeBSD has them. So correct me if I'm wrong. If you ever seen a FreeBSD floppy drive installer, I think they should. I don't know. Not a lot of systems have them. No, that was quick. Done. And I am Asia that should be the one. And yeah, it's just on the finalish bit, and then it will reboot. So again, this is not a multi-core processor, so you will probably not have a BSD .smp kernel. You'll just have a regular BSD kernel on it. Yeah, just reboot and we'll boot from the main hard drive. It booted from the floppy or RAM. So I'll also go ahead. Can you show me how to build root with a portable version of Ubuntu? Um, what do you mean by the portable version of Ubuntu? Not sure. You mean live boot? And Kifra, you're going to see something very interesting right now. So I'm just going to go ahead, remove the USB drive and insert the mouse. I have limited number of ports on this system. So give me a moment. I'll probably mute it. Right, so that's in. Yes, I can probably do that, but with build root, yeah, I guess you can use the apt repository, so it won't be a true Ubuntu though. Right, so let's just reboot it once more so that doesn't detect the uh, flash drive that's not installed. I hope we don't have a kernel panic here, which would be sad. It would be sad, honestly. And it kernel panicked. Right, so I think I need to have ACPI off. I need to manually shut it down first. Bye bye. Power it back on. And I can just do ACPI false, ACPI off. Oh god, what was the command? Give me a second, I need to search that. It was somewhere along the lines of that. So OpenBSD turn off ACPI, or was it disable ACPI? Yeah, disable ACPI it was. Nice. And then we can just go boot or quit or exit, and let's see if it boots now. Hey, looks like it booted up. Nice. Ooh, ooh, nothing's on the display, which is a bad thing. I hope that wouldn't happen, but I guess you guys are not seeing anything, which is bummer. I hope the GUI comes up on the capture card. So I've just had this issue with whatever VGA to HDMI converters you buy. Just it finds something that it cannot render. Let's see if the UI shows up. No. Uh, that's a problem. That's not good. Maybe if I kind of reset it. Give me a second. Let's see. Anything? No. Oh, there we go. Right, resetting it worked. So it just booted up. Didn't miss too much, and I might need to make like a manual reset because this happens more often than I'd like stuff like this to happen. So probably need to make like a little hack to reset, power it on and off remotely. But anyway, we can log in. Let's see if I mouse work. The mouse works, which is nice because this is kind of a hacky mouse. So just go root and there you go. Now so if we were connected to the network, we could have just run firmware update and it would have worked. But of course, it cannot find it because we are not connected to the network. So what I need to do is manually download the firmware.zip, copy it on the drive, mount the drive, copy the file, unload, and work my way through. So I won't be able to entirely share that, but I can actually open up Firefox and search. But at this point, the frame rate's going to drop a lot. Uh, Hopefully, it doesn't affect too much. Hopefully, it doesn't affect the audio. But you can already like see my hand moving very slow. So let's see. I'll have to stand up for this now. Firmware zip install OpenBSD. Right. We are getting very low frames, which is expected, so don't panic. All right. So where is installation notes? Firmware zip. Um. So there was firmware update. This. Okay, I found the download link. Oh, and then we can just use the path. Okay, yeah, uh, that Seems fine. Oh, it shows 403 forbidden for some reason, but we'll work with it. So we are on 6.5. There's a lot of, there are a fair bit of firmware packages here. There was one just which was a single firmware.zip, but I can work with this. I need to figure out how do I, where do I insert the USB port. My video might go off because I need a free USB port on the host system to download the firmware. Anyways, I'll keep talking so that you guys see that the stream isn't like ended or something. Here's a dmessage log if you guys want to take a look. There you go. Take a look at the dmessage while I'm at it. So even if I do lsp, I don't think if that's installed. No. Dmessage PCI. All right. So we have uh, ETHN0. So that is the one we need. So we'll just see if the ATHN firmwares are there, and we'll just use those. So I mean it should be compatible, and we'll just use that. So all right, uh, give me a second while I download and copy that. All right, ATH value, save link as. That volume. Wait, why is that empty? What volume is that? Save. Hmm. Right, I will need a moment. Oh, yeah, that's a bummer. So we can stop that. Create a new volume that's like 8 gigabytes. Choose that. Use A and then create. And that. Uh, Now we can download it. Um, yeah, let's see. Yep, it's downloaded. So remove that. Stop that. Power that off. Now I can have my face cam back, but before we do, I will actually go out and plug in the USB drive and remove the other Wi-Fi stuff. working. But, and, hey, there we are. Right, so if I do a D message, you can see our drive is there. I don't know how drive labels work, if they show up as SDA or what. Should be SD0 for all I care. SD0, yeah. So mkdir temp mount SD0 at temp. So dev SD0. Right. C A ls temp. Nope, not A. Unmount. B. Not configured. C. D won't work. You're killing me here. What? Right, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3. We need FAT32, which is 1. This shows the ID, not the drive letter. The fuck, dude. Right, this is pretty different from Linux, I guess. So you will have to bear with me while I figure this one out. Specify boot partition, specify disk geometry, uh, disk, LB black count, print the MBR. Let's see if verbose does anything for us. Nope. So if open if SSSA, this should be V, but C B, nope. C is even C is something else. D E F G. Why didn't C work then? See, says invalid argument, but it works on that side. A600. H. I'm just going ham on it. Alright, I mounted. Let's see what that is. That's the EFI partition. We don't want that. So you mount FSD. So probably all the FreeBSD folks are going crazy on this. Like, well, you're not supposed to do it this way. H I J K L. I'm running out of letters here. M N O. What the heck? B C. Yikes. Please don't tell me that FAT32 is not supported. I mean, it was a few kilobytes, so I can probably copy it back into the EFI partition which we did mount with what? What was that? I? Yeah. Right. So, back to the USB drive, back with the whole drill. I will be back in a second. Well, I mean, yeah, I know I mispronounced temp as team, but that doesn't really matter. That's not what the issue is right there. The issue it's not mounting FAT32. Alright, back in a bit. Alright, I think that should work now. So if I do ls temp, I can what? Oh, ls team. I can see the firmware. I can then do cp to, and I should see the firmware here, but probably I should just do mkdir form and move the firmware there. So now I can just go ahead and do fw update p and it will form, and yeah, it updated it. So if I reboot it, it should show up. Now if I reboot it, and hopefully all the VGA stuff just doesn't go away. And let's see. Oh yeah, I forgot. The disable ACPI stuff. I have to make that permanent. It should be in one of the boot configs, which I haven't taken a look at. So C, and then disable ACPI and exit. And now if it showed up for a second. Right, let me just reset it. Yeah, there we are. Right. So root. And I do, let's make this larger a bit. The message web PCI. Yeah, so ATHN0 is found at PCI1, which is good. Now all I need to do is search a little bit how we can connect to Wi-Fi, and we should be good to go. You'll probably see my Wi-Fi password, which isn't much of an issue. I can always change that. So OpenBSD, manually connect to Wi-Fi. There's a nice little write-up, and I can read that. Looks like I've been here before. And yep, ATH0 should be the one. ATHN0. And so we'll do ifconfig ATHN0 NWID. My net is downstairs. WPA WPASK. Are we using WPA PSK or the other one? We are using PSK actually. So WPA PSK, and then this one WPA PSK space downstairs dash my password. And end that with another one of these. Alright, I was hit with this issue. This is very weird. And should just work with this. Yeah, I had a lot of issue with this earlier. Just like there's no WPA PSK app here. Let's try this. Let's try. We don't have nano as well. Okay, so vi slash etc slash host host name dot ATH0 ATHN0, and here I'll just add DHCP and WID downstairs. WPA key and password. Let's see if we have any other comments in the till then. There's a lot of hi in there. Hello everyone. Um, I don't know what was the other issue with the FAT32 partition, but yeah. Let's try this same command as so DHC client. Yeah, there's already no link to it, so that won't work. Yeah, I think let's reboot it and see. But before I reboot, I'll just disable ACPI permanently. Uh, yep, found it. So config e o bsd dot no ACPI and slash bsd, and you can do on disable ACPI, then go quit, and I can do MVBSD /BSD dot CPI and then MVBSD not ACPI to BSD and chmod 064/BSD. I'm not sure if this will stay during upgrades, but this is the best I've got. I guess we'll see if it stays during an upgrade. Thanks, Jacob. Whoops, we are going to boot from floppy. We don't want to boot from floppy. I don't have a Discord server. I just saw that message. I'm just going through that stuff right now. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, no, it boots. And again, the VGA stuff doesn't need to be, oh, it needs to be reset this time as well. So I'll just do that. There we go. Alright, so the Wi-Fi has got link. Nice. We are connected. Yay! I'm actually pretty happy that worked out the way it did. I also have a Pentium 4, but mine runs in XP at the moment, and it's a Dell Optiplex GX270. Mine is a compact Presario. It's a single core Pentium with 2 gigs of RAM. Yeah, XP is pretty good for Pentium 4. Although I do plan to do a few Windows-based stuff, but mostly 32-bit. So you'll see a big live stream coming later on. Uh-oh. And it's ping test. Ping. What do you want to ping? Hey, no. What the heck? Huh. Oh. That particular Wi-Fi is actually not working at the moment, which I had completely forgotten about. So I'll have to switch over to the other Wi-Fi. I don't want to do that, but alright. We'll need to reboot it once more. nano/etc. Or is there a way to restart network? There should be a way to soft restart network. As you might have seen, I'm a big fan of Nano and not VI. Just a personal preference. What? See, that's why I don't like VI. Just, what are you doing? You know what? Oh, we are dropping frames. We are dropping frames. We are back. No worries. See that this is why I don't like VI. Come on. Like it won't let me freaking delete. Is there a delete key or something? Ah. VI is just too old. VI is just too old. So like I cannot use the delete key. I have to use the X key. So I can go, or I have to go out of the editing mode or escape and then just use X to delete. Now like it works fine, but it's not the norm. I'm sorry, it's 2018 and the keyboard these days actually have a backspace and a delete key. So I don't get it. I hope that's the Wi-Fi address. Nope, not that one. So I've got to use. Come on. Right. What kind of keyboard you have? So the one, um, right. So you have a ATI Radeon 9000, which I'm interested in. Uh, because is that a PCI card or is that like a AGP card? Because my system doesn't have an AGP port, and I'm looking for some PCI cards. And the second question is, what kind of keyboard do you have? This one currently I'm using a TVS Gold, which is like an Indian made keyboard, which used to come with a Cherry MX Blue switches, which mine has. So mine is the older one. Now these they just come with a cheap Chinese replacement. But the main workstation one is one of the Gigabytes minimalist keyboards. It's really cheap. There's nothing really on it. No media keys, nothing. It's very small but very heavy and hefty, with proper RGB blue, or sorry, Cherry MX blue switches, and that's the one I use every day. Yep, I guess so. Like AGP cards are still easier to find. PCI cards are just horrible to find. Just don't get it anywhere. So let's see. OpenBSD restart network. Restart network service. Nice one article from Nixcroft. So we do our DOAS. I don't exactly know what that command is, but let's do a man on DOAS. That's the first time I've heard about it. Executes command as another user, so we don't need that. We are already as root, so uh, just do sh etc and net start, and we wait. Now let's ping Google. Hey, it's working. Finally, we have network. So, right, next thing I need to see is, which I've completely forgotten, is pkg add. Uh, and how do you update using that? OpenBSD update all packages. at pkg at dash uvi, and we wait and see if there's any updates. If our sets are old enough, then there would be. Looks like it updated it, or there's some more stuff to do. Looks like it updated it. There was only one package called Quarks, which hopefully fixes all the quirks. There are 8 people in the live stream, and that's a good number since a very long time. So, right, PKG add Firefox. This has to be done so that we can browse the net. And HTOP maybe. Let's see. I'll add HTOP, and we'll do the graphical stuff later. Like I like to run Mesa on everything. So I hope you guys can see why I told you that it's a very retro look. So with OpenBSD and like FreeBSD, you can run all the modern Ds, but with OpenBSD, you get this really old looking interface by default. Um, of course, it's not old looking, like it's kind of the very minimalist interface with X running. Um, and you can actually install CDE, which we'll do. And CDE actually has a pretty old look, like old workstation look. It's a port of I don't know if it's AIX or some of the older ones. Um, if it's like some of the older systems that had that interface called CD. I'll show you on free on once the Firefox stuff is installed. Apart from that, you get all the fun Xorg things. So if I right click here or left click here, you get Xterm. You have calculator, so you can do all your calculations in there. Um, what else you have? You have Xmag, Xman, and top. So you can see not a lot of CPU usage. So it's fine. P4 3 point, or what was it? 3.2 gigahertz, 3.06 gigahertz, something like that. P4 at 3 gigahertz. It's a fairly powerful thing. So it's going to take its time to install. I'm not saying it's going to be very fast, but the other thing I also want to try is just to build the entire OpenBSD world on a P4 and see how much time it takes, and just live stream the entirety of it just for fun. Any browser. I'm just installing Firefox. Um, yeah. Now it's a P4, so video playback won't be as smooth at all. And once like Firefox install, I can like show you all what I'm googling and searching and stuff like that. Is Yeah, I can probably do. I don't know if Phoronix benchmark is available, but I can probably benchmark some build times of GL Mark II, some of the more generic, benchmarks. I'm not sure how. GL Mark II, running GL Mark II itself would be nice for the GPU. Um, as a GPU benchmark. I already know the scores for Linux, the average scores for Linux and FreeBSD, so I'll be able to compare. Shouldn't be much different. Everyone uses the same thing these days. Everything's running on Mesa, so we'll have to see how that goes. or even if OpenBSD supports the said Intel integrated GPU, which always makes me laugh. Right. So let's open another Xtorm. Oh, and should if the message actually shows the Intel integrated GPU. Mm, right. Intel DRM0, Intel 82915G video. So this is the one. So this particular one, and yeah, so that is a GPU which it detects. So the DRM driver is working, of course. That's why we are getting the output on this one. And then, so I don't know if you guys do follow a person called Canadian Brian on Twitter. He does a lot of OpenBSD work, and he had some tweets about older game running. The OpenBSD folks are getting some more of the older games to run. So I will also try and follow that and see if we can make some of the games work. Compiling GL Mark 2 would be a very interesting um, take, because it usually involves modifying the build source a teeny tiny bit. So we'll do it online. I've done it for FreeBSD earlier, like a few months back on a VM, I think. Um, and I need the. I should probably send a PR for that with GL Mark so that those guys can fix that. It's a very small and simple fix in the main build section. But yeah, right. I mean, we are waiting for everything to be installed. It's going to take a while. So feel free to answer any questions. I am at the chat. I'll turn off my video and audio for a tiny bit, and I'll go take a small break, relieve myself and stuff like that. And like just ask questions and I'll turn on my mic and answer it. And as soon as everything's installed, I'll turn on the video and we'll continue with all this stuff. Yeah, I think Wine works. I'm not. I'm pretty sure Wine works with OpenBSD, and we can try installing some Windows stuff. Alright, looks like Firefox and Edge are installed. So let's turn off top. Whoa, that killed our session. And run Edge top, just everything I've expected. Um, Place it here. I'll make it more visible because I'm sure it won't show up as well on stream after all the compression and stuff. So let's go to setup, display options, colors, monochrome, and done. Right, that's much better. Firefox is installed, so the only way to open it, I think it won't show up here. The only way to open it will be on using a command line. So yeah, there you go. 100% CPU usage, because why not? It's a P4, it's a single threaded core still, and you can feel that. You can feel that it's a single threaded thing. Firefox privacy notice. I guess what? Yeah, of course you believe that. You are an internet company. Every internet company believes that the privacy is their prime node, prime objective or whatever. But I believe in Firefox a bit more than I believe in a lot of other projects. Um, so what do we do now? Let's try out GL Mark II and building that. That will take a long time, right? But like without CD building in OpenBSD. We don't want Linux build. We want OpenBSD build. Or is CD already available? Which would be interesting to have. In the new terminal. PKG query, was it? Info CDE. See if that works. Nope. Check. No. Right. We'll build CD, no worries. The thing is, we don't want Linux build, we want OpenBSD build, so if you can give that to us, very much thank you. Right. Oh, they have instructions for Open Indiana. They have instruction for OpenBSD. Open Indiana is another OS that I've always wanted to try it out. I'm not sure if it will boot on this setup. I've tried it on another setup earlier, but yeah. Right, so let's get started with this interesting stuff. We are going to build CDE and we are going to have fun building CDE, whether we like it or not. Whether our systems are slow as heck or not, we are going to have fun. All right. So we need the following packages. So we go pkg add, we git, we need ksh93, we need motif, we need tcl 8.6, and let's wait. CPU is at 100%. No worries. It's installing other stuff, which is always nice. Stuff for Git. Again, I'm going to take 5 till it installs everything, and then we'll be back. So it does have graphics support, but it's not as powerful to run Halo at all. Like Half-Life 1, probably yes, but not Halo. Um, yeah. TCL didn't install for some reason, but we'll see what we can do. We need 8.6, so we'll just go to. Cool, that is done. I'm not sure, maybe it does. I don't know how well it will do under emulation. All the games that I want to try, I'm probably going to do it under one of the Windows builds so that the CPU doesn't have to emulate stuff, as well as take care of the GPU, um, because emulation can have a fair bit of CPU over like usage, and I don't know how it will perform honestly. So I might give it a go, and I'm not saying no. Right, so all the dependencies are installed, I guess. What did we do? Huh. And cloning, not sure how much time this take, and we'll wait. Close the calculator though. I mean, I know I can clone it and give it 16 gigs of memory, but it's not going to be as fun as running on actual hardware. Yeah, let's see how much. Almost done, to be honest. So we do cd cde desktop code slash cde and run time make world, uh, which is nice. Not a lot of developers give like the time command, but yeah, it's kind of a nice small benchmark every time you want to compile something. So the last time I remember it compiled pretty fast, but it was on a fairly modern machine. So I'm not sure how much time it will take. I guess we'll see. So we'll go time make world. Ew. It doesn't know how to make world. Okay. Huh. That is not promising. Oh, capital W. That makes no sense at all. Why would you do that? It's a free base. It's a BSD thing to have make world instead of make all, which I find fascinating. Right, let's give it a few more seconds. All right. So, um, right. Couple of errors apart from my stream just having audio all of a sudden. Right. That's all. So, some issue with libconf not being found. So we can install that. So I'm not sure if OpenBSD lib has like development packages like dev packages, or if they just include the header just normally. So you should just be able to pkg add this. No worries. I'm just seeing if there's like a development header anywhere, development package anywhere, but doesn't seem to be. So I can just go ahead and do pkg oops, add lib icon. Um, what? Why that didn't work? Maybe it did. Who knows? Let's try it again. I think that's working. Well, looks like you're in a bit of a trouble. For some reason, it doesn't find libivcon. Well, looks like you're in a bit of a trouble. Um, so, mm, not sure what the exact issue is with CDE. Um, says there should be a package called iconv, but it's not there. If I go and say iconv, this says there's something called iconv. See? I don't know if it will work. I'm very skeptical right now. It ends up with the same error over and over again with the lib iconv stuff. Like, I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, if it doesn't work, then we can try doing GL Mark 2 maybe tomorrow because it's like 2:30 a.m. here. So I'll probably close this off if it doesn't work. At least we got to a point where our Wi-Fi was working, where everything else was working. We have Firefox running, and we can pick up OpenGL3 later. I can give you probably a very quick demo of GLX gears. So, so I don't know if it's in Mesa demo or mm, Mesa, or it's a separate app. It looks like, so we can just PKG at that. So yeah, Chromium OS. I'm not sure, but I'm like Chrome OS is the proper, like you get to install Linux apps and you get to install Android apps out of the box. Um, so yeah, Chrome OS or Chromium OS, it just automatically assumes that you want to use the entire disk. There is no better way to partition it, which is BlueStacks is I don't really use BlueStacks that much. If you're using a Linux distribution like Debian, you can actually install that Android stuff uh, as an app and run it on emulator as well as boot the exact same image. So the Android x86 folks have an installer for that. So you can just do Android run, or you can reboot and it will give you an option to select Android. I'm closing Firefox, I mean, there's nothing to it right now. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll give you a quick demo of GL Mark 2 and we'll be done with that. It's fine, discussion can be on anything you want. Hey, GLX gear or GLX gears. Wait, what did I miss? Why isn't GLX gear working? Miss our demos. It should be already installed, I think. Yeah, it is. I should have shown you earlier, but okay. So that is working, and here you can see that it's Mesa 1.4 and it's Mesa 18, I mean OpenGL 1.4 and Mesa 18.3.5. But there's a neat trick. I don't know if these guys have it, but you can actually convert this to OpenGL 2. It emulates a couple of system calls, but it's usually fine. So you can do DRI conf. I'm not sure if that's installed. So pkg add DRI conf. And once you run DRI conf and save your configuration, it should change it to, nope. Well, let's see if it gets DRI conf. It should then change it to OpenGL 2.1. We have DRI conf, so it's probably working. Although it needs to install entire bits and pieces of Python. Right, let's run DRIConf and make this into OpenGL 2.0 or 2.1. Okay, and enable this, yes. Image quality debugging. Close. Should this work? Can I now run glx gear info and get OpenGL 2.1? No, still 1.4. I might have not enabled the correct things. Like, this button is so confusing. Do you click it and it turns to no, or do you click it and it turns to yes? Like, there's no clarity to that. Either you click it and it turns to no, or you click it and it turns to yes. Or you should have a toggle button instead of like stuff like that. Oh, we're still at 1.4. I'm surprised with that. Usually this thing works. Maybe it's not loading the settings properly. So that we know. Then why would that work? Let's try. If not, it's fine. We are stuck with OpenGL 1.4. Still means that we have OpenGL ES 2.0. So I'll take a look later on that one. So again, at least the GPU is working, and you can see it here. ls slash dev slash drm 0. Alright, so it probably has the GPU somewhere else. But it's building now. I don't know if it's building fine or if it'll fail. Failed spectacularly last time and the time before. But if it builds, then I'm happy with it. And we can try out CDE. If it doesn't build, then I'll probably close it out. So we'll see what happens. Well, looks like we are plagued with the same thing. Not sure what's happening. Uh, I could run it with dash V, but I mean, it's mostly might just be like a waste of time. Um, yeah, so that's over. That's the stream. A failed CDE build that stretched it out to 2.5 hours. I was aiming for an hour, but with everything else, I think it was a good stream. We got OpenBSD working and the Wi-Fi. I'm happy about the Wi-Fi working. So that means I can have even more streams later on with OpenBSD and other stuff. If one of the little missing puzzle pieces arrives today or tomorrow, then I will actually have a pretty long stream installing Windows 95 using floppy disks, like 22 or 26 sets of floppies, one after the other, and we will have fun with that. So, till then, thank you so much for watching. I'm closing this one out, and I will see you all in the next one whenever that happens.